Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well. The bugs are insane, so I've got to get a bug net on me. I can't help it. With this on and off rain that we've had this season so far, this is one of the worst starts to summer with the bugs that I have experienced here. The humidity level is incredible right now. Oh my gosh, this is bad. We are in the tail end of Hurricane Beryl, and it's about to hit Ontario, Canada. This is the MARMOT Limelight 2. I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna leave it out for 24 hours. This tent is all mesh other than the rain fly. I wanna see how this one-person tent holds up if I got caught in a torrential downpour. I'm getting eaten alive. This will probably be a world record tent setup. It's about 30 degrees Celsius with the Humidex right now. Normally I'd be wearing shorts. I'm wearing pants and a long sleeve because the bugs are so bad. Just put on a net, maybe that'll help a little bit. Doesn't matter. Let's get the tent set up before this storm rolls in. I'm already sweating. This is brutal. I did mention it was all mesh. I was thinking of another tent that I have, but you can see there is a lot of mesh. Very breathable. This is an awesome summer tent. This is one of those tarps that I got a little while ago when I was doing some of the tarp tests. So that's what we're gonna use. It's a ground sheet slash tarp. Super handy. You can see the size of the bag that it comes in. Always keep one of these with you. You know how I like my tarps. This is my compact, lightweight summer sleeping bag. It's synthetic. There's my air mattress, and there's my pillow. Look at how small these are. That is an air mattress, pillow, and sleeping bag. Compact, lightweight summer gear. We'll get that in the tent right now. This is the Hibernate by Ecotech. Got it on Amazon. Look at the bugs just piled up around me. There we go. Look at that. This compact sleeping bag. This is made by Outbound. Not expensive. You can get it at a local sports shop. This is the Micro Light. There you go. Just a rectangular sleeping bag. Don't need a mummy bag for the summer, especially when it's 30 degrees out. Compact inflatable pillow. The reason why I'm putting these items in, because I want to see if any of this stuff gets wet for 24 hours in a rainstorm. Don't know if I mentioned or not, we're expecting anywhere from 20 to 50 mils of rain could fall in 1 hour. Some areas could see up to 80 millimeters of rain. Now, I'm not a fair weather camper. You guys know that. I camp in the wintertime. I have been caught in some pretty heavy rainfalls. This particular tent, I've had in some decent rain, but not 24 hours of a torrential downpour. So that's what we're doing. I want to see if this gear holds up to the weather. Let's take a look inside. So there's the tent on top of the air mattress, sleeping bag. I just put the little accessory bags right there for everything, just sitting on top. This particular tent has a door on only one side. Can you guys actually see the bugs swarming? Maybe you can, I'm not sure. So there we go. On this particular one, 4 corners are clipped in. I did flare out at the back. This one here, so that pulls it away from the tent. And then same thing with the front. I could put on a guy line here and flare that one out, but I'm gonna leave it hang down. There's actually a pretty good gap between the tent and the fly itself. And then of course the front is pulled down tight, and you can see when this is all secured. You can see how taut and how tight the fabric is on this particular tent. I'm pouring sweat, 30 degrees. I'm all full of long sleeve, long pants, and I don't know, can you see? There's a bazillion mosquitoes. Look at them all. Look at them all on my hands. Look at that. Look at this. Look at them all. Okay, that's it. I'm done. But I will be back with an update. Now would be a good time to like, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff, because I'm out here sweating my woohoo off for your entertainment in this bug-infested environment. Now it's the pouring rain. So the tent has been outside for 24 hours. I'd say about half of that has been a significant rainfall. Here we go. There's the vent, which is good. I'm gonna see what it's looking like on the inside. This particular one has a window, but all of that's condensation on the inside of that, so which means it's damp on the inside. Even though it's pouring rain, the mosquitoes are horrendous, so we're gonna actually crawl inside the tent to see what it's like, because even with the rain, these things are insane. Like, go away. So initially when I look, the tent door itself, the tent is dry. That's a good sign. The bugs are so bad, we're actually gonna get right inside, guys. So let's do that. Oh, we gotta close that up. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's get the camera real quick. Get in here, camera. Look at that. It helps if you take a couple minutes to just tidy up your gear and know where everything is, especially when you're dealing with some really adverse conditions, because if you need to get a hold of some extra tent pegs or an extra piece of string or something, then you know where it is and you're not scrambling around, especially if you've got some insane weather like we have at the moment. Okay. Let's take a look around the tent. Like I was saying, so there is one of the gear pouches. There's another gear pouch right here. So I've got everything organized. In this particular tent, it's considered a 2-person backpacking tent. You could have 2 people shoulder to shoulder laying flat in here. This is perfect for 1 person. So if I'm on one side over here, look, I got this much space for all of my gear. The floor is dry. Other than where I brought the rain in when I stepped in here, the floor is dry. That's a good sign. That's the first thing I want to know, is the water coming up from the ground up? No. So I could relax, take off my flip-flops, stretch out, and then not worry about my sleeping bag getting wet. All in all, look at them all. It's nice and dry. Little pocket to put keys or your phone or something like that up top. And what I'm looking for is all around on here, okay? There's no condensation. It's bone dry on any of the tent panels, okay? Other than where I came in and I brought that moisture here. Even the mesh, all of this is bone dry. Look at, you can see the mosquitoes. They're just trying to get in. Except for this one is in. Got him. On the outside, there is a vent as well to allow some airflow to come up this way and float around. So with this many mesh panels throughout the whole thing, we got tons of air circulation. Even though it is humid and I'm wearing a raincoat at the moment and a light long sleeve, I'm not I don't find it too hot in here because there's actually a pretty good airflow. I'd say it's been in steady rainfall now for a solid 12 hours of heavy rain. It just started to pick up even more in maybe the last half hour. That's why I grabbed the camera, because I wanted to come out when it was raining the heaviest. Another key thing to remember, especially if you're expecting some type of weather, you have to make sure that your fly has a gap between the main tent and itself and the fly. Because if the fly even touches the tent, that moisture is going to transfer and you're going to end up having a spot where it could start leaking in. Maybe it's the condensation, but if it touches the tent, you're going to have moisture on the inside. So that's why with this particular one, you can see here from the mesh up into this section, look at how much of a gap there is. There's going to be a couple of inches of gap that this is sitting away from the tent. You can even see in here, look at, that's the gap in between there. Hard to tell through the camera, but all throughout this tent, there's a space between the tent itself and the actual, and the fly. I'm gonna leave it set up. We are expecting rain all throughout the rest of the day today, into tonight, overnight, into tomorrow. So it's gonna be 48 hours of rain, moisture. I'm gonna leave it set up for that period of time to see if anything changes. One thing to keep in mind with the tarp, if you put one underneath, you should always have a footprint or a ground sheet or a tarp underneath. Is you have to make sure that it's not sticking out further than the fly. And what I usually do is I tuck it underneath so that it is the same diameter as the tent footprint itself. Otherwise, tiny little bit, all that water is going to hit the tarp and it's going to run down, and then the floor of your tent is going to be soaked. So keep that in mind as well. Just a little pointer, little tip for any of the new campers out there. If you're experienced with this stuff, I know, you know what you're doing already. If you got any tips for me with, you know, a lightweight summer setup in pouring rain, go ahead, leave me some comments. I absolutely would appreciate that. And like I said, I'm not an expert, but I have been camping my whole life. I do have some experience. I did work in the outdoor retail business for years, selling all this gear, so I do know about the products. And I'm always learning, so, and I just want to share it with you. Maybe it gives you some ideas if you're looking to get out and do some camping for the first time. So I'll leave this set up for the next 24 hours. I will come and do an update. I'll take a look. If the rain comes down harder, we'll take a look and see what it looks like on the outside. But so far, if this is what we're looking at, 24 hours, we should be good the next 24 hours. We've had some structural integrity issues with the tent, and I'm going to show you what's happening here. So if you recall, this particular tent has a little plastic window, and it would seem as though, oh, not only did it pull away, where's the window? It's right down here. Uh-oh. Look at this. There's the window. You can see how old this tent is. About 15 years old, so you can see where the glue has all come apart. So I can fix this, no problem. I knew that it was starting to pull away, which is unfortunate. I've been skeptical about windows on a fly for years. I'll leave that right there. I'm gonna leave it. I could put some tape it on if it was an emergency. But if this was to blow out in the middle of the night and you didn't know and the rain was coming down, you'd be waking up to some rain coming in. I'm gonna leave it like that and see what happens. So maybe my gear is gonna get soaked, but this is gonna be a true test if one of these plastic windows in your tent happens to separate. So I will get this glued back on. I'll repair it properly. That won't be a problem. And it's not to deter you from getting a tent that has a plastic window like that, but just be wary. Mind you, this is really old, so of course technology today is better how they can laminate those two materials. But I'm going to leave it, and then we'll see what happens inside the tent tomorrow with this. Look at all the mosquitoes are going in there. If it's a heavy downpour, you know it's getting wet inside. So this is a true test right now. It's about 5:30 in the morning. Gonna have a quick check on the tent. The rains have let up for the most part. The bugs are still insane. Let's take a look and see what's happened with this tent now that the window has caved in. So you can see there's remnants of the rainfall from last night. Let's see what's on the inside. So the bottom here, this part's pretty wet. Same with some of the mesh. Not necessarily higher up into here, but I want to know if the rest of the stuff stayed dry. Okay, so just like I thought, there's an area here directly under the window, of course, where it's wet, but for the most part, the sleeping bag, the rest of the floor looks pretty dry. So even though we had this window blow out, we're still looking like we're in pretty good shape. So we're gonna have to get this fixed. All right, let's carry on from there. All right, one last quick look. The rain has let up, this storm has passed. It's supposed to actually get pretty nice over the next couple of days. Let's take a look, because this has been sitting since last night. This morning I checked on it in the dark. I mean, that piece is still there. This is unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about it other than repair it. What I want to see now is how wet did it get on the inside. Oh yeah, look at that. So that's a big puddle that's sitting on the tarp. You can see all the bottom here. Yeah, let's flip that over. It's wet here. Now I'm curious, how wet is it on the inside? Yep, look at that. There's a puddle of water there. This is on the low side. You can see obviously it's directly where the new skylight is. But the tent, or sorry, the sleeping bag and the air mattress and the rest of the tent is dry. So I mean, it did really hold up quite well. Once I get this patched, it'll be good to go again. So this tent definitely did well, held up, other than the little bit of failure on that part. I'm going to contact the company and maybe send it in, see if they can repair it for me. But all in all, let's actually take a look. Okay, so all in all, it's dry in here. It really is. So a little bit of a puddle in the corner where the water came down and pooled into the low end. That's why you always want to keep your air mattress and your sleeping bag on the high side if possible, because if there's any pooling, then it's going to be away from it. So I'm actually quite pleased with the outcome. I'll get that fixed up. That won't be a problem. So yeah, unfortunate, it happens. But I wanted to keep it real, because that could happen while you're out backpacking and you don't have tape or something to repair it. Then you're gonna have to deal with that. So there you go. That is the testing my old tent in a heavy storm. I mean, this thing's probably, I'm gonna guess it's about 15 years old. That's it. The bugs are starting to build up in here, so I gotta break this down, hang it up to dry indoors, just to show you if you do get a quality product, because Marmot does make some good gear. I've had jackets and clothing and all kinds of stuff from Marmot, and I'm not going to hold that against them. I'm going to contact them. Maybe they will fix that for me. That's it. Thanks for watching, and of course I will see you in the next adventure. Bye. So done with the mosquitoes. Please just stop.